The best way to improve your drawing is to actually draw regularly. I know, it doesn't sound like something new. You've probably heard that before, but hear me out. Because I didn't start as an artist. I work in tech. I grew up in Canada and went to school, and I got a job in front of a computer. And for most of my adult life, drawing was just this thing that I always wished I did more of. I would buy a sketchbook, fill in a few pages, and then it would just end up in a drawer somewhere. Maybe you know that feeling. If you clicked on this video, you probably don't lack the desire to draw. You're here because you feel inspired. You want to get better. And you probably don't lack finding tutorials. I mean, there are a million of them on YouTube. What you probably do lack, and what I lacked for years, is just a way to keep drawing when the rest of your life is pulling you in every other direction. There are just so many things demanding your time: work, family, errands, rest. Drawing just ends up feeling like a luxury you can't quite justify. Or maybe it's something deeper. Maybe drawing has always been on your bucket list, right next to learning a new language or getting in shape. You definitely want to do it, but you've never quite started for real. I was exactly there. I actually grew up around art. My family valued it enough to send me to private art lessons just because I really enjoyed it. But I chose a career in technology for financial freedom. And for a very long time, I told myself that art was something other people did. People with more creativity, more talent, more of whatever I thought I was just missing. That story I told myself, I don't think it's true anymore. And whatever version of that story you're telling yourself right now probably isn't true either. Here's where I want to be upfront with you. What worked for me might not work for you, and that's completely fine. But I think there's a way to figure out your own version, and it starts with looking at what you've already been doing successfully. Think about the habits that are already woven into your day. Do you make coffee every morning? When did that start, and why has that stuck with you? Do you go for walks, listen to podcasts during your commute, or scroll through your phone before bed? Something keeps those habits going without you having to force them. If you can identify what drives those routines, whether it's a specific time, a small trigger, or just the simplicity of it, you can probably apply that same exact thinking to drawing. You don't need to reinvent your life. You just need a very small anchor. And that's the thing that took me a very long time, too long to understand. Drawing doesn't require some big commitment to start. You don't need to be young. You don't need a fancy setup. You can start with a pocket sketchbook and a single pen. That's it. The challenge is always what happens after you start. How do you keep showing up? For me, the answer was tying drawing to something I was already doing. What I think of as habit by association. Here's what I mean. Instead of putting drawing on your to-do list as a separate thing you need to remember, you attach it to a moment that already exists in your life. It could be every time you're bored and reaching for your phone, you open your sketchbook instead. It could be when you sit down with your afternoon tea, you sketch for a few minutes first. Maybe you have a family member far away and you want to share something personal each week, so you draw your favorite moment to send to them. The key is that drawing stops being a task and starts being part of a moment. You don't need willpower or reminders. It just happens the way your morning coffee just happens. Let me show you what this actually looks like in my life. So I draw for 20 minutes in a small Talens art creation sketchbook right before I leave the house to pick up my kids from school. That's my anchor. I work from home, so my schedule has some flexibility, but I still need that boundary 20 minutes is enough to finish a sketch and make meaningful progress over time. But it's also short enough that I can't procrastinate or overthink it. And because I have to leave by a certain time, there's a natural deadline built in. If I don't wrap up, I'll be late. And the faces I imagine my kids will make when I arrive late really discourages me to prolong that drawing session. The last piece I want to share is something that's been more powerful than I expected. Documenting your journey. I've enjoyed writing since I was a kid. I've kept journals and later blogs, and keeping a visual record of my drawing practice felt like a natural extension of that. But even if journaling isn't your thing, sharing your progress creates this feedback loop that keeps you going. If you're not just drawing in a vacuum, you're looking back at what you did last week, noticing what's changed, and thinking about what you want to try next. Over 1,000 videos later, that loop is honestly the biggest reason I'm still here drawing every day. It's not motivation, because motivation fades. It's the act of reflecting on your own growth. So, if there's one thing I want you to take away from this, stop waiting for the next perfect moment. It just doesn't exist. Just find a small pocket of time you already have, grab whatever pen and paper are nearby, and draw for 20 minutes. That's how it started for me, and it can start exactly the same way for you. I would love to hear in the comments what moment in your day could become your drawing anchor. And if you want to follow along with my daily sketches, I'll see you in the next one.